All right, we are on air. This is Alicia Stringer here on the Millionaire Mindset Hangout. I'm so excited to have you guys here because we have a special episode today, I guess we should say. The holidays are getting started. We really have to focus so strongly on mindset. There's so much going around us. We're getting closer to the holidays, which means we get closer to family. And sometimes that could be really tough for people to go back to family because maybe they're not as strong mindsets as we are inside of, business like minded. So we're going to have some tips today on what has helped us keep a strong mindset. And so hopefully these tips and strategies and things we share today will help you align yourself and think about ways how you can keep yourself strong through these holidays and tough times that we're going through, to keep your millionaire mindset, to keep strong going through it, and maybe even escalating stronger than you've ever been before. So let's introduce our fan out here in Nashville, and we have over there Greta in Canada. Go ahead and introduce yourself out, and we'll have Keisha and Valerie come on.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. I loved what you said. My name's Greta Campagnolo, by the way, and I'm just, I didn't exactly get dressed up for this occasion today. I'm in my scrubs, basically, and got a few health or physical issues on the go here, and I just knew I had to be on this hangout today because I know that I'm here for a reason. I know there's something that I need to hear from these ladies today. So I'm from Vancouver Island, BC, Canada, and yeah, it's not too cold here yet. Doesn't get too cold here this time of the year, but yeah, so I'm just happy to be here. I'm excited. I know Valerie's got something up her sleeve, and Keisha's always got amazing, powerful things to share with us, and Alicia again too. So I know she's got some tips for us. I think she grabbed herself an awesome book. So I'm excited to hear what she's got to share as well.
Keisha, are you there?
Sure. I thought Valerie was going to come on out. Valerie, I can come out, and then we can leave with Valerie if you guys want.
Okay. Yeah, you're in order. It goes Alicia on the bottom of the screen. It goes Alicia, Greta, Keisha. So I was like, you're going to go next.
No problem, guys. Keisha Parker here, live from Philadelphia. I'm excited to be here with these amazing, powerful women, my Superwoman co-host. Guys, and I'm excited that you're watching this right now because, yes, this time of the year, not only because of the season, the actual season of winter, thousands and millions of people suffer from depression, and making it a holiday season is just makes it so much worse because people get so depressed about so many different things, and it's really, really difficult for them during this time. We have some powerful information for you. That may not be you, but you want to stay focused on the goals and the dreams that you have, and we want to help you do that. You want to stay focused on that millionaire mindset, and we do this every week for you. And I'm going to learn today, also, because every day we learn something, and I'm just excited to get this information from these powerful, powerful women, as you should be too. If you're watching us, listen, get your notepad, get your recorder, and take some notes and apply them in your life. You'll be so happy you did. And so now Valerie popped off. I don't know if she's going to come right back. Valerie always tells us she has these two twin boys. Oh, there she is. She's back. So on to you, Valerie.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I got the kids, and they got little colds right now, so I might be popping in and out a little bit here. Okay, I want to share with you today something that was very powerful that I actually got from Edwene Gaines, for some of you that might be familiar. And near the end, I'll give a special link where you can actually just catch a little bit more of the details of what it is I'm going to be talking about. And she's talking about the 4 laws of prosperity. And it applies to this because a lot of this really deals with this topic of, when she gets into this, of dealing with ourselves and people in our lives and our relationship to them. Okay, here's sweetheart. Here you go. And again, we're going to get a lot of interruptions they're because of where they are at today. So the first thing that she talks about, and I've always kind of almost kept away from this or not really quite gotten it, and this is the first time I've actually really gotten it. And she talks about taking from every dollar that we receive, from whatever source.
I want only chocolate.
Okay, sweetie, this is chocolate right here.
I want only chocolate.
Okay, I can't fix it right now, sweetie. This is all we've got right now.
I want only chocolate.
Okay, afterwards, sweetie, but not right now, sweetheart. Okay?
I want chocolate in a bowl.
I know, we don't have chocolate in a bowl right now. I mean, I've got this organic cocoa that I put in things for them that has 0 sugar, if you can imagine. Anyways, okay.
Yummy.
So, about tithing 10% of every dollar that we receive. And I want everybody to take a deep breath from what I'm about to say. Deep breath. That's gross. That's not net.
Sorry.
It's from your business. And if you want your business, and someone asked this on the recording we sent you. Just somebody asked from the businesses, would you want your business to succeed? And this is about trusting that the universe is really there for you, trusting that God is real, and that's what this is about. And it's actually like a proving mechanism. There's something very powerful that happens to your belief when you go through this process. And it's even if you're on a fixed income, even if you're on food stamps, even if you're in wherever, from whatever dollar that you receive, and you do it first, 10% first, but we're not talking about giving to a charity. And that may sound odd too, and this is where I finally got it. Because what she says to do is the moment you receive money of any kind from any source, you take a deep breath, you look inside and you go, who has served me spiritually? Who has served me spiritually? Where have I been fed spiritually? Where should I tithe this to where I was fed spiritually? She gave the example of a waitress that had said something powerful to her and said a piece of kindness, and she told her that she was going to tithe to that person. She's given to authors. She's given to all kinds of different people. And it's a person in your life that has said a kind word. I mean, it's not about giving to a charity. And the moment I heard that, something just like went inside of me. Because the giving came from a very heartfelt place. So it's a trusting place, and it's a heartfelt place, and it's a powerful thing. And she did this, whatever it was, about 45 years ago when she started doing this. And her story was such a powerful thing that by the end of 2 years, she was debt-free, and she was making $100,000 a year. And 45 years ago, that's a lot. Okay, and she was living in some big gorgeous mansion, all decked out and everything else, and she'd started from a very completely different place. But it was a process, and it was that and a lot of other things. So that was step number 1. And again, I'll give you the link at the end, sort of, because a lot of it, I actually had to listen to it a couple times I'll probably listen to it again to really kind of get it. The next thing, and this is big when it comes to family, and she talks about forgiveness. Forgiving others and forgiving yourself. Now, this is a woman that was sexually abused as a child and raped as a child and had lots of horrific things happen to her. And it was a process for her to get this peace. And this is a very important piece. I'm going to say up front about it because I've had a lot of that in my background. I wasn't sexually abused, but I was raped. I've been, physically, domestic violence. I mean, a lot of different things, and for a long time, I carried the story, and so did she. And this is not about, sitting down and reaching out and, speaking to the man that raped me, okay? This is about internally, and you can even do this with people that have passed on. And she had a couple of suggestions of how to do this that I'm going to relay to you. And full disclosure, I haven't done it yet. I just learned this. I'm putting into action right here what's called Learn, Do, Teach. I mean, I literally learned this, just learned this. And so I'm conveying it to you, and I would actually love to do this another time after, where we all come back after we've applied a lot more of this. But right before the holidays, I think it's absolutely perfect. She would say that for 7 days, and she actually did this for a couple years because she had so much stuff. So this is a process, folks. But she would, twice a day, she would write out a statement 35 times, and she would say, I, like for me, it would say, I, Valerie Jampolsky, I completely forgive X person. Now, there's two ways of doing it. You could do 35 different people, or you can do the same person 35 times, depending on what's going on in there. But it's not a specific thing, but different things would come up, different levels, different layers, kind of like I'm peeling an onion, so to speak, of the different stuff that comes up, and, you know, she would cry and go through all this stuff, and eventually be able to release. Now, that applies to yourself. I, Valerie Jampolsky, hereby forgive myself completely. Now, you do that 35 times in the morning, 35 times in the evening, and you do that for 7 days. Now, you can even do that if you choose 7 days with one person if you need to. And you just keep doing it until that's released. You can do different people, or you do one person, but it's not different instances. You're just completely releasing that person and allow the process of what comes up. Okay? Because something that she said that was very powerful, two different things, was that debt is one of the ways that we punish ourselves. So if you're in debt, if you got more coming in, if you got more that needs to go out than what you got coming in at the current moment, okay, that situation is something that oftentimes we create for ourselves in order to punish ourselves because we got stuff going on out in this area, okay? And I just found it so extremely powerful when I mean, I had so many light bulbs go off as I was hearing this, listening to this, and now conveying it to you. And the other thing, too, one of the other ways that we punish ourselves is with our health. Okay? And she also, I mean, she's gone through that as well, where she had a tumor. She had a brain tumor where the doctors were saying to her, pretty much, you know, lay out, get everything set up, basically, you know, tell your kids this is it, you know, tell your family, get all your resources in order. And there's two pieces to this. One, she decided that wasn't her situation. I mean, she did it. She got everything in order and then just said, no, and started, you know, and did a lot of this work. But she also was doing the tithing thing. And she ultimately, obviously... Okay, sweetie, I'll get you something to eat after, but not right now, sweet pea. Not right now. I'm going to finish this, and I promise I'll get you something to eat. They've been eating all morning, by the way, just so you know. All morning. So that's not what this is about. Okay. So she not only did the tumor like just go away, and the doctors had given up on her. She had decided to, because one of the things that came to her to do was to go to a particular healing place, and something very powerful happened when she went to this healing place, and she did all this work and everything else. She decided as part of her tithing that she was going to bring a certain group of people, something like 20 people, to go to this place, and she to literally pay and bring them to be healed. And she was, you know, on the plane headed there, and she was sitting there, you know, on the airplane. You know what? I'll get it for you after school. Not right now. And someone was sitting next to her on the plane. She was just explaining what was going on. Well, this person happened to work with Oprah, and was actually going to that healing place to do a special on it, and ultimately ended up, you know, interviewing her and talking about it. And Oprah mentioned it, and next thing you know, she ended up having a book that sort of like, you know, got crazy sales as a result of all of this. And it was all because she was just following her heart. And doing a couple of these things that we're talking about, just conveying one of her stories, which I just found was so incredibly powerful. You just don't know. You don't know what's going to lead to what's going to lead to what's going to lead to what's going to lead. But following these things, God, the universe, whatever you want to believe in, everything starts falling into place when you do these things. So that's the two pieces. And one of the other things I want to just mention, just when it comes to the forgiveness thing, there was one woman that asked a question saying, you know, I've worked on this with my ex, and I've gone through the forgiveness on the inside and everything else, but does, sweetie?
Don't steal my pineapple.
Okay, you know what? He didn't steal it, and I'll get you more pineapple, I promise.
My pineapple.
Actually, that's Jaden's pineapple, sweet. I will get you pineapple. This is Jaden's, and I will get you your own pineapple. I will get you your own pineapple. Sorry, it was his pineapple. So, crazy. He just didn't eat it.
It's all,
Jordan?
it's all good. The
It's all
life
good.
of a mompreneur.
I know, the life of a mompreneur, all this happening at once, of course. And because they are not feeling well, they are really not themselves at the
Yeah.
moment. Everything's a little bit emotionally off at the moment.
I
I
feel
was
that
just-
way sometimes too, guys.
Yeah. Honey, I promise I will get you the pineapple. You know what, here's what I'm going to do. If you guys want to comment and talk about that, I'm going to go quickly get them the pineapple.
Yeah. No
Yes.
problem. Sounds good. Oh, I just love everything that she's sharing. It's like it just makes so much sense, and I think that a lot of us have heard of this sort of theory before, and the way of, you know, giving back, and, you know, it just to be able to have that clarity helps so much. Like, it's very specific in how to start implementing, and for me it's exciting. It's you know, when I started to watch this morning as well, and I've got my little one screaming at me right now too. So I'm gonna hop out, but I'm just super happy that that Valerie's sharing this with us today. I know that it's now he's gonna start playing with the lights. I know that, you know, you watching right now, that you are gaining some serious value from what Valerie's sharing. So I'm going to mute myself out. Now she's back. I think Alicia had something to say before you hop on out again.
Yeah, I was going to just add that, you know, when you do something in a repetitive motion like that, it helps you focus a lot more clear anyways. And we do that for our kids because we have to teach them something over and over repetitively. So especially when you say something morning and night of what you're focused on, you know, you're definitely going to take some ends on breaking whatever down and really focusing on what you're repeating. So great tips.
Cool. Thank you, you guys. And I'm back for the moment. We'll see how many times I get interrupted. Every time I get interrupted, that means it's time for you guys to come in. How about that? My boys will kind of lead the process here. Okay. So here's one of the things I thought was extremely important as a distinction, because there were people that asked questions, as you know, this thing that I was watching. And one of them, she is someone that, you know, she had issues with her ex, and she'd been working on the forgiveness and everything else, and she felt like she'd come to the other side of that inside of her. But there were some financial obligations, and she was asking, does that mean I don't take whatever court actions might be necessary? And this woman said, this is her opinion, Edwene said her opinion is, you know, she feels that folks still need to learn accountability, and so, you know, to still do whatever court actions might be necessary in a particular situation, but still to do it with a place of heart and love, not from a place of malice. And another person jumped up with, you know, a similar type of question, just happened to be right behind the other one, and it was a similar situation where there was copyright had been taken from her and financial things like that, and it's the same thing. Do the internal forgiveness, but, you know, that doesn't mean that you don't take particular legal actions if that's applicable in that situation. There's a difference, and you'll know inside your heart whether you're doing something from malice or if it's something that, you know, really just, you know, really for that. So I just want to lay that distinction. Same thing, you're not going to go and call out and reach your rapist. But she did say, if that gentleman approached me today from a different space and wanted to have lunch, I'd work with that. Sort of an interest, it's a distinction. It's a distinction, and it's a place from inside, and, you know, obviously you keep yourself safe and protected, and there's, you know, things. The other thing was, what if someone has passed? And this is something that she's done for folks that have passed that you have issues with, because it's very, very challenging when that happens. And what she has done was she would write a letter, and in the first letter, in the first paragraph, she'd talk about all the things that she appreciated and was grateful for in the relationship with that person, in the first paragraph. Second paragraph was all about the pain and the hurt and the things that were where the pain resides of what happened. And then in the last paragraph, it's, you know, your name, and that I completely release you. I completely forgive you. Completely and totally forgive you. Okay? And then what she did, and there's a variety of things. I mean, she has this bowl that she burns things in, and she burned it and let the ashes flow to the wind. She talked about some woman that writes on toilet paper and flushes it. There's some ceremony where, you know, you take a stick and you make a notch on the stick for all the different people that you're wanting to forgive in your life, including yourself, and then you burn the stick. I mean, there's lots of different ways, but there's something about the physical action of that in terms of releasing. I went through a similar thing for anybody that might have gone through any fertility issues. It was something that was guided to me, and it reminded me of this because those that may or may not know, and I'm going to be very open about it, but my children, I used an egg donor because I couldn't do it physically. My eggs weren't, it wasn't going to work. And it was a big deal to release my my own genetics and forgive myself and forgive all kinds of people, folks, whatever. There was a lot connected to why I was in that situation. And one of the things that I was told to do was to do something on paper similar like this. And, you know, and to actually take all of that in the mourning and everything that I had for the loss of my genetic children in terms of my, you know, my DNA. And I actually took that and, you know, put it in a pot and and put it in and had a plant that, you know, so it was sprouting new life. And I did another thing where I went out to the ocean with rocks, and each rock that I threw into the ocean was one of the things I was releasing. So there's just a lot of methods, just other things of methods of ways of you know, physically going through the process with maybe a particular person or something that's very deep in addition to the 35-35, you know, thing that she was suggesting to do. So I don't know if you guys have anything else, you know, you want to comment on. Otherwise, I can step into some of the other things that I learned from this.
That was very powerful, Valerie. I thank you so much for sharing that. I had to step away for a brief moment, but I came back just in time because I see you stepped away also. Before I want to share the impact of what you shared, I want to just share with everyone that how awesome it is that we can do this with my grandbaby on my lap, with your boys there, and how powerful this is that we can share valuable information with people to help them get to the next level in their lives, all while we're with our family. So I'm thankful for that. As my grandbaby gives you this awesome melody here. She sang herself to sleep for like 15 minutes. She fell asleep for 15 minutes. But I also, Valerie, literally what you shared is something that I can utilize in my life, because I recently realized that someone that I needed to forgive is no longer here with me today. And I thank you for sharing that. So it's like so on time. Everything that we do, everything that we share is so on time. And I'm sure not just for me. I'm sure for the many people that will be watching this episode. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Keisha. That's such a cutie pie.
Thank you.
The next area I'm going to go through is about goal setting. It's the other piece to the prosperity that she talks about. And I'll be honest, there are 10 steps, and time only permitted for me in terms of getting ready for this. I've only got 7. But they're powerful 7, and at the end, again, I will give you the link and you can go and check out the rest of it. But what's powerful here, even with what's here, I had a realization, and I have the feeling you ladies might have a similar realization as I go through some of the things and why some of the things that have worked in my life, how they've been working. So she has like these 10 steps of of things of, you know, towards our goals. And this is, you know, so we got the tithing, we got the forgiveness, all that inner work, and then there's this other additional level. And she suggests to go and take out a you know, piece of paper, or like, you know, like a little place that you need to write notes and stuff, and just sit down in a quiet place when you can by yourself, you know, or at least focused in on yourself, knowing you, Greta, what goes on around you. Mama, I get it. And list out, if money were no object, okay, what would be fun to do? What are the things that you would just be fun to do? Now, this isn't like your big, super duper goals. These are, I mean, this could be all kinds of little things, You know, she laid out this one thing. She always thought it'd be kind of cool to take that ride under, you know, the sea between, you know, London and Paris, the Channel, they call it. There's like a train ride you can take through there. I mean, just, you know, different things, whatever it is. All these different things that, you know, travel, places, anything that you might be fun to do. She's like, she'd like to have lunch with the Dalai Lama, you know. It's just like, you know, stuff, all right? Things that she had laid out, just different things. And, you know, like kind of like if you were, you know, like a kid who's like, you know, say, you know, Santa daydreaming, what would I like? You know, I mean, just that kind of like that fun place. Or she made this joke, it was like Taco Bell saying, think outside of the bun, of, you know, just stuff, whatever it is. And no, so a lot of these things that come up are, there's a reason. They wouldn't come up for you if it wasn't actually part of the universe saying that this is actually possible and available to you. So that's the other thing, is just open up to that. Hi, cutie pie. And one of the things she does is she actually gone to the dollar store and found those like those little booklets, little pads of paper, and she carries it around. And every time she has one of those little fun ideas, every time she has one, I can't get the optimums right now. Okay. Every time she gets one of those fun ideas, she would write it down, and she just carries it. And it's sort of like this ongoing process of like having that place of play and opening up, and amazingly these things, you know, have just started, you know, to happen and appear in her life because she put it out there. So that's step one. Step two is to actually write down specifically, and she says it could be 12, it could be 3, you know, up to 12, something like that. Really, your most important desires, the stuff that really makes your heart sing, as she would say, that would be fun. But like the really deepest, like, you know, once you've gone through and you're like, what are the like 12 that are like really deep and important for you? Okay, and no, sweetie, not right now.
Why?
Because I'm talking to everybody here.
And then will you do it?
Yeah, when I'm finished talking, I promise. Okay. Okay. And step 3, and she said this is where most people quit. This is where most people quit. And she says to ask yourself, what do I need to change about how I am in the world? What do I need to change about how I am in the world in order to achieve those goals? And it's a big thing. What do I need to change? And and also, you know, am I willing to make this change? Am I willing to make this change? Right? And it's a key point. And it's an extremely powerful place that, you know, that I think that she says a lot of people miss and skip this piece. Then the next step, go ahead, yeah.
Is what you have to change, is it something maybe you have to do? Because that question didn't come to me right. I was like, well, in order to change, I have to do this. You know, would that be the same thing?
If it's about changing how you are in the world, and she says this is not about your kids changing. It's not about your spouses or ex changing, or your boss changing, or the government changing. It's what do you need to change in how you are in the world in order to achieve these goals. And that can lead to a lot of actions. It absolutely will lead to actions, right? It triggers a whole thing. It's a very powerful question to ask. And the thing that also she said is, you don't need to go sit on a mountaintop for 5 years to figure this out. You ask yourself, and your life is going to go wham right up to you and tell you. Be open, because that chances are the first thing that comes is kind of like, it's it, right? So then it's a matter of, well, am I willing to make that change to achieve that goal, right? So it's a very powerful, deep thing. Step 4, she says, is to then lay out a date by which you want to achieve each of those particular goals. Like those big ones. By what date? By what date? Because it can all be opened up. It could happen earlier, but by what date? Okay. And the other thing she said about these goals too is she said, you know, to be really specific about them. So it's like, you don't want to say, oh, I want to travel. No, it's like, where? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do while you're there? You know, I mean, what do you want to see? What do you want to do? If you want a car, what kind of a car is it? I mean, you know, I think of like Tracy Walker, who's been on our Hangout. She had a very specific thing about what car she wanted. She got real specific about that sucker, right? And that's what she wanted. That's what made her heart sing. It was important to her. Me, I frankly wouldn't care. But, you know, for her, it was important, right? And it was a powerful thing for her and her trust and everything else. And from there, that led to her making $1 million. I mean, it was like, you know, there's reasons why we have the things that we want. So be very specific about it. Be very specific about it. So it's like saying, I want financial freedom. That's not specific. Not specific. Okay? Get into the specific of it. So, you know, and then what do you need to change, and what's the date by which you want to achieve the goal? All right? And she says, pick a date that you can believe in. Like, see, for example, she's a lady that, if you saw her, you would understand. When you see, she says, there's no way if I said by tomorrow in a healthy way I'm going to lose 30 pounds. That's not an achievable thing. Like if I were to say to myself by tomorrow I'm going to be able to do 500 push-ups from my toes, right? No. I mean, there's, you know, you pick a date that you can believe in, right? And something else she said, because it happens, you know, you make these dates and you pick these dates and you get all the way up to the date and it hasn't been achieved. And by the way, don't give up till you get to the date, right? You never know. You never know. But you get to that date and maybe you didn't achieve it. And when that's happened to her, what she's done, she's gone back inside and said, okay, what is it that I need to change to achieve this? What is it that I need to change about how I am in the world? Like go back into it and am I willing to make that change? Because there was another level, another layer that wasn't met. And just keep doing it till you get there. Now, the other thing is you might start going towards your goal and partway through just go, you know what? I don't really want that. Like maybe I might, like Tracy didn't, but let's say I started out and I wanted a particular car, and after a while I went, you know what, I don't know if I really care. Doesn't matter, doesn't make my heart sing anymore. I want something different. There's something different that matters to me now. You can let it go if it doesn't matter to you anymore. Truly doesn't matter. There's a difference between giving up and going, it doesn't matter anymore, right? And you pick something different, right? That's okay too. You don't need to push just because you said it if you don't care anymore about that particular goal. Something more powerful is there for you. Okay, so that's step 4. Step 5 and 6, she says she likes to do together. That makes sense. And she says because you write these out, you write them out, and then read them every day. Read them every day, twice a day. We got a wonderful friend you guys all know, Sarita. She reads hers twice a day, and it's a powerful piece of. I'm convinced a piece of her success. So you read them every day, and what she does, she got some, like, you know, the little 3x5 cards, she puts them, she's got them by her mirror, she's got them on her fridge, she's got them on her dash in her car, places that she's going to see them and constantly remind her. And the part 6 that she does together with this, and I know you've heard this all before, and this is the powerful piece that comes together with it, and she says, imagine yourself already achieving the goal. Imagine yourself. If it's that car you're driving, if it's that vacation you're there, she says, create a mental movie. And I know you guys, well, I've read this in books too, everything else, you know, there's like, you know, psychocybernetics talks about this a lot. Mental movie. Athletes do this all the time. Mental movie of achieving that goal. And this was a very powerful one and laid out for those of you that might be dealing with a health issue. See yourself healthy. It's not about fighting the illness. See yourself healthy. And this is a very powerful, for each of those goals, asking this question. For this goal, what does that look like? What does that look like? Asking that question to yourself. What does that look like when I have, you know, I have such and such? Imagine it's happening now. You're experiencing it now. What does that look like? Okay? Now, number 7, and this is where it kind of gets deep, metaphysical. She says, this is the metaphysics. And the way she described it, and I love this description. It's been, you know, described in many different ways, but I love this description that she gave. She says, there's the absolute world. And in the absolute world, the truth is we already have all of this. We already have it. If you've imagined it, you know, we already have it. And our work is about bringing it out of the absolute into the relative through our thoughts, through our feelings, through our words, and through our actions. Through our thoughts, through our feelings, through our words, and through our actions. That's actually about number 6. Now I'm looking at my notes. That's really about understanding that as you're imagining it. And this is number 7, and this is the part where she said a lot of folks skip. Now I'm going to get to number 7. A lot of folks skip this. And I realized, and you guys have actually heard me tell this story, but I realized this is the piece, a big piece of why some of the cookie things that have happened in my life, why they've worked. Okay? She says, act as if you've already achieved it. Act as if you have already achieved it. Oh, by the way, I want to go back to one of the things that they talked about when she talked about when it comes to, and this is going to relate to all of us as entrepreneurs here. She talks about the goals. Before I get into this, one of those goals could be to start a business. Or within your business, to have $1 million idea, and bring it to manifestation. And I want to open up for those of you, folks of you right now that are right here listening to my voice right now. You're on this page, and you've been watching us for a while, and you'll notice that we have a link below. There's no accident. You're an entrepreneur, and you're here, and you're getting all these ideas for you to be able to have in your life. There is an ability. It's what we use, and the link below us. Click on it, and there's a system that you can actually put into application and use all the things that we're talking about here with some very concrete steps to make that dream come true. Okay? Adding that into the piece. That's there for you at the bottom of the page. You can click on it, open up to another page, and you'll be able to access it. So, okay.
I need to show you something on the TV.
You could, okay. Do you want to talk to that before I get into step 7, the last piece here that I've got? Because I got to go and, is that cool, guys?
Okay.
Okay.
Powerful, powerful. Really, your imagination is powerful, and when you focus your mind, they say your thoughts are things, and their energy, and you really have to focus on using that in a way that will profit you to exactly what you want. So whenever I see, or hear that negative stuff coming at me, I didn't ask for it. It just, people are just telling me stuff that the negative is coming in, or something like the family around you. You're doing that again. You're not making it. It's still stuck in the same spot. Just the same negative aspects. Your thoughts have to be focused on that imagination. That how will you feel when you accomplish that goal? How do you feel when you've gotten there? And that keeps me in that happy state. And another thing that I've done is speak that into an audio that you want, what you want your thoughts to say, and record it in a spot that's easy for you to access and listen to. So maybe there's that manifestation that you're trying to put, that goal that you're trying to say, that the vision that you're trying to create. Write that down, speak it, record it, and then when you have that time that comes in, hit play right there and put in your earbuds and just focus on you yourself saying that in your mind again. So having that recorded is very, very powerful. And a lot of people do that in their own voice, their audios, as well as maybe make a video of it, maybe their picture, they want to see it and put different pictures and stuff to it. So very powerful on some of the goals and things that you want to manifest and achieve in your life right now. So I see Valerie's back for the last step.
Thank you, Alicia. That's a really, really great tip. Awesome tip for people.
Cool.
Oh, she's got another one. If there's one, there's another one that's not too far behind.
Right.
And Keisha's doing a really good job with the little grandbaby there. Aww, so
sweet times to cuddle.
Okay, now her video is on.
What I did want to share is, ladies, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly.
What I did want to share is what Alicia, you spoke about, Valerie mentioned, and what I realized, and so important, this whole process is speaking things into existence and speaking in present tense. Speak as though it's already happened, and that is so powerful because your mind, like you said, a thought is a thing. Your mind begins to believe that, and as Valerie says, it starts producing actions towards that goal, that that desired result. So it's so powerful. Tony Robbins speaks about it. It first starts with a thought. It starts there, and then it goes into the possibilities of that happening. It turns it into your activities and your actions produce a result. And the more you produce those results get you there, that whole cycle continues. But you have to stay in the present of now and keep that thought in your mind at all times. I'm going to do better with, as my grandbaby pulls my hair, I'm going to do better with repeating it over and over, because like we said in the beginning, life takes control sometimes, or tries to steer us away from the goals and our desired results and, you know, what we want to achieve or we will achieve. And when we keep it in front of us in all of those places, no matter what happens in life, as we spoke, the reason for these thoughts, when, you know, life starts to take a toll, or things don't seem or not seeming as though they're getting there, we can stay focused on the desired result that we will achieve. Not want to achieve, not should achieve, what we will achieve, because we're going to take those steps and we're going to keep it, everything focused in the present tense. So Valerie, you're back, and I want to turn it over to you.
And thank you, Keisha. Thank you, Keisha. Okay, so step number 7. Now remember, there are 10 steps, so we'll give you the other ones after, but this is step number 7 is acting as if you've already achieved it, okay? And you ask yourself this question: what actions do I need to do in order to achieve this, in order to trigger my subconscious mind that I mean business with this, okay? Because you've got your goal and you've got your date, but what actions do you need to achieve? And she gave an example of, you know, say you say next year or whatever, in a particular month you want to go take off for a trip for a month, and you want to go being able to take the time off and go backpacking, go to all these places. Where she says, what are some of the things you could do? You can go buy a backpack, right? You can check your passport. Is it active? Is it ready? You know, you can go get what kind of shoes do you need. Start breaking them in. You know, what kind of things do you need for that type of trip? And when you're ready, when you know, you create, you know, you create this. And an example, an actual example from my life is there was a time, you know, when my finances were really, 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 really bad, and I really wanted to get to a particular event. And I had a ticket to the event, but I had no way to get there. I had no airfare. I had, you know, and my kids at the time, I was breastfeeding them. They were little, and I didn't want to stop breastfeeding them, so they had to come with me. I needed childcare in order to be at the event, and I was on food stamps. I mean, I could barely rub 2 pennies together, right? And the event was coming up, and it was like a week away. And there was a particular exercise that we talk about that's similar to a lot of this, but it goes into even deeper depth of this, that, you know, we have access to in our system. It's part of our inner circle, and when you click the link below and you get into that and you access our system, you'll be able to have access to the exact, you know, recording that I worked with. And I worked with this particular thing, and I followed through it step by step, and I added this additional piece as well to it. And it was that I said, okay, I've done all the work, I did the exercise, I did this stuff, and I asked myself, something in my life said to ask myself, what do I need? Because I saw myself there. I actually saw myself at the event. I saw myself with a detailed movie. I was sitting there, I was at the front of the stage, particular things were happening on the stage, and I knew I was going to be there. I saw the details. I was like, okay, I'm going. But my reality was, okay, it's a week away, and I'm flat broke, and I don't have airfare, I don't have this or this or this. But I'd taken my action. So I said, okay, well, I'm traveling with twin 2-year-olds, and it's about a week from now. I'm going to start packing. So I started to pack. I was like, okay, how many diapers do I need? How many changes of clothes do I need? I mean, anybody that's ever traveled with little ones, and I had twin 2-year-olds on my hand, you know, this is the first time, you know, I'd really traveled, you know, with them at that age, and it was like, you know, there's a lot of planning you got to do in the packing of that. So I started packing. And then the other thing, I'm an organic vegan, and I was like, and, you know, I had the financial situation as well. I was like, well, I'm not going to want to eat the food that's at the hotel there, because we're not going to have the food that we need. So I was like, okay, well, and I went to the store, and with my food stamps, I purchased non-perishables of things so that we could have the protein sources and everything that we needed, and the snacks and the kinds of stuff that I could take and have all the food that we would need for this trip. Now remember, I had no airline tickets. It was a week away. I had no airline tickets. I had no hotel, and I had no one to help me watch the kids. 3 things I needed, right? But I did that. I did all those things one day. I just sat down and said, okay, I'm doing this. I did the exercise the night before, and then the next day I did this. And the craziest thing happened. That night I got a phone call. And it was from someone that I hadn't spoken to in a very, very long time, out of the blue. And I got the airline tickets, I got the hotel, and I got someone to help watch the kids. And when I heard her talk about this step, I was like, aha! I mean, I'd suspected, but actually hearing it from someone that's been applying this for over 40 years, you know, and has an actual system and teaches it and everything else, and I'm not the only one that she's seen results with it, it was just like this massive aha moment came for me, and realizing how powerful that really is, that is a very, very powerful step in the manifestation, you know, in this process of, keys to prosperity and abundance, is actually asking yourself, what actions do I need to do to trigger my subconscious mind that I mean business? And whatever comes up, no matter how wacky it might seem, to just go for it. And that's where I am at step 7, and there are 3 more steps. And at the end, I'll share exactly where we can get the rest of that as well. But ladies, if you want to come in and talk to any of this and add any more of your tips.
Yeah, that's powerful. You've helped me out a lot with that, Valerie, because I think I do that for every event. I mean, well, like not only every like business event, but almost like every event in my life. Like, okay, like the every day, that is a process for me. Going, what am I manifesting today? Because I am at this level and I need to be here, and what are the action steps that I need to do to get in that step, because I don't have that missing link that is going to get me there. And that is just such a powerful step, going, I'm going to go through the process, whether I have that missing link that's going to really end up getting me there or not, I'm going to go through the process anyways. And having that mind so strong that I need to pack, I need to get ready, I need to do all these things that I can do right now because I made the decision that I'm going to do that, that is just such a powerful action step that you know you can do. And I think you can do that and apply that in, like I said, I do it daily, everyday life, according to just that big business goal, big event, or even just manifesting things that you need in your life. People probably do this even for Christmas gifts or something, that really think of something special for somebody. We talked about a lot of things that you can create for cheap, or for just thinking of ideas that you're thinking of somebody. What can you do with things surrounding you that you can help with somebody? So I always think when you share that process of the resources that we already have that we need to use to get us to where we need to go. And that makes us think so much more creatively in a way that really makes us step out of the box and see everything around us in order to get to where we need to go. And I think that's a more powerful way, because we really truly look at maybe more people's talents and how that we can help each other and getting people in more places. So that's very helpful. Thank you, Valerie.
You're welcome. Thank you. Because I know you achieve some amazing things, and you're constantly creating. You just create. I mean, that's what one of the things that she was talking about is this, like, you get this, when you apply this, there's something very powerful that happens. It says that you can that you realize you can create your own reality. That you actually can create your own reality, and she says, if you're ready to do your part, and doing these steps, asking these questions, and taking these actions. And I mean that applies, to the business that we have and that we do. There's this thing right below us, and there's steps. You take the steps. There's a formula. You take the steps, and if you're ready to do your part, then you can have results. I just had an idea. It was a piece that I forgot that I remember that she mentioned, and it was about going back to the forgiveness side of it. And when it comes to, because she had like some very, very intense things that were going on in her life. Like I said, she was, she just told part of the story, but she was sexually abused and raped and everything else, and some really, really horrific things. And she was at some kind of a training, and she was talking, and she would talk her story and talk about all these things that had happened. This happened, and this, and this, and this, and this, and people were giving her hugs and going home, because the result, people would be like, oh wow, it was like one of those kinds of stories. And the guy that came up to her was like, you know what? It's time for you to not be the victim. We're getting bored with your story. It's kind of an intense thing to say, but we're getting bored with your story. It's time for you to step out of this role of victim. And he talked about, and that's, and for anybody and I've been through some pretty traumatic things, and I know that, to hear that, I was like, but she trusted this individual, and, there's, they talk about this concept of reframing, but part of it is, he gave her, a thought, and we can throw this out to you whether you want to accept it or take it in, and you can choose to accept it or not accept it, or take in whatever you want, whatever value of anything I'm going to say here, but this is what she talked about, and then it was very helpful for her. And it was something that he had said to her, which was that there is one way of looking at things, to say that before we come here, we have a choice and we choose. That it's possible, and this is a story that you can choose, you can take what serves you and what doesn't serve you, but to say that, you made this decision before you came here, telling her, Edwene, you made this decision that you were going to be a woman of power. You're going to be a woman of power. And so you made a choice, and you said, okay, what is going to help me to get the fastest way so that I can be a woman of power that doesn't abuse that power, right? A woman of power that really makes a difference in the world, that kind of power. And she chose the family that she came to, and she chose the people, and she chose all these situations that came up over and over and over again. And through that process, learned how not to abuse a position of power. How not to abuse that position of power. And he said, you passed. You put that through, you passed. And so now you can go out and be that person of power in the world. Instead of being the victim, you're the person of power in the world, because you know how to do it in a way that it's got you. You're in this place right here, right now, and you chose it so that you could be here, right now, and be able to help others. And to be that person in power because you know how to do it without abusing that power. And it's a choice of how you see your life. What is the story? What is your story? What is your story of your life? Are you the victim, or are you the person that made that choice? I found that I personally found that story very empowering. It was very, very, very empowering. I just wanted to share as it just came up to me. As I remembered, I didn't share it yet.
I just want to add, guys, all of this information is so powerful. To sum it up, powerful, because we're talking about a lot of things here. We're talking about how you can gain and command authority and influence in your life, and how reframing these things that may have affected you negatively in the past, how it can now add positivity to your life, how it can now add success in your life. You may not have looked at that before. And up until a few years ago, that was my experience. I've been through some powerful and traumatic things in my life, and up until connecting with powerful women like these women here, the women that you're looking at, I learned how to turn it around, reframe it, and now use it as stepping stones to strengthen me, to give me the muscle to be the more confident, powerful woman that I am, the woman that you're looking at, the woman or person or man that you can become by affiliating yourself with people like us. As Valerie said, you want to click the link below so that you can surround yourself by these type of people that have the information and the knowledge that will take you to the next step in your life. It's so powerful. And I'm just so thankful for the connections. A lot of this we learned on a connection that we have with some powerful women, a superwoman connection. We have a call coming up. It's just, you want to get connected. You want to click the link. So guys, do it. Click the link. We will get you connected. We will get you elevated to that next level in your life, empower you to take the steps and the actions to get you to prosperity. So Alicia, Greta, anyone else?
I just have to say, boom. That was awesome. Awesome. I'm so excited to actually listen again to the replay and really hone in on each and every step that you took us through, Valerie. And also, you know, Valerie, you will be posting the link for everybody watching, right?
Yeah, I'll post
To get the next steps.
I'll post the link in the chat below of where to go.
Sweet.
It's
Awesome.
57, so you know, because Alicia.
We gotta go. So
We gotta go.
Let's go. Have a great day. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.